Hey, what's going on, guys? Jimmy here, and today I'm testing out this new trimmer line I just bought by Stihl. It is this highlighter yellow X line, and it's going in my Stihl FS94r. I'm not a commercial landscaper by any means. I'm just your typical homeowner with a lot of trimming to do. So I wanted to look up a really good line for this FS94r. I did like the orange line that came in the thing when I first bought it. And this trimmer is pretty new. I've only used it a handful of times, and I do love it so far. But the line that came in it has now run out, and I ran some off-the-shelf big box store line that I absolutely hated. So I did a little research into trimmer line, and of course there's a zillion options out there, but I wanted to stick with Stihl. So I found a really good deal on this 3-pound spool, and hopefully today we'll see if that stuff is any good. When doing my research, I didn't want to just get some fancy, crazy expensive line. I wanted to get the line that all the professionals were using, something that lasted a long time, but also wasn't expensive. Just the basic commercial line is what I was looking for. And to be honest, it was really hard to find that. I asked a few professionals, I watched a bunch of videos on YouTube, of course. I called my local Stihl dealers to find out what line they were buying, and it was just a different answer every time. So I basically came to the conclusion that the commercial guys are usually just buying an affordable line on about a 3-pound spool is what seems like is most common. And so if you're able to find line on a 3 or 5-pound spool, most likely that's because that's what the commercial guys are buying. Or is it the commercial guys are buying that because that's what's available? Either or, it's the same answer. This X line is not exactly what I was looking for in the beginning. I just wanted a typical round line just because it was a good all-around line. I looked for the Stihl orange stuff, the Stihl green stuff, and although they had it at the time when I was ready to purchase my line, they only had it in a 5-pound spool. For me, that would last me 2 lifetimes, and I just couldn't justify that. I didn't want to buy that line only to have it age over a certain time and start getting brittle. I thought a 3-pound spool would be perfect for me, and this X line was very affordable. And it was by Stihl, it's made in the USA, and I figured, what the heck, let's give it a shot. I do like the color. It's bright highlighter yellow. It seems like it literally picks up the outside light and just glows, which is pretty cool. And apparently this X pattern has, you know, squares basically in all 4 corners, which makes sharp edges, which hopefully should make this thing cut through grass pretty dang good. But it's not simply just cutting through grass I'm after. I mean, any line can do that. I am looking for a clean cut, which hopefully these sharp edges will create, but I'm also looking for a line that will last a long time. I hate having to re-spool this thing, although I've only done it once. I don't want to have to do that over and over and over again. So my goal is a line that is affordable, provides a good cut, and lasts a long time. Again, that's probably everyone's goal, but that's what I'm after here. And I figured, why not stick with Stihl? Of course, there's lots of other brands, but Stihl is the brand of my trimmer. So I'm gonna stick with Stihl. Hopefully they've engineered these things to work well together, which I'm pretty sure they have. So nothing left to do than to get to trimming. Some people wonder about the sound of a line. Let's go ahead and see if you can hear this on camera. well, let's look at the line so far. We did come up against that brick wall you saw, as well as some chain link fence, but mostly up against this brick wall. And I didn't extend this line at all after that, so you can see how much is left here, right up against the cutter. It's probably, I wanna say, maybe 7 inches of line there, but you can see the end of it is fraying a little bit. So it'd probably be a good time to bump that and have it cut off a new clean piece. But that being said, it's been cutting really good right up against that wall. I barely have the throttle pulled on that, so everything so far to me seems like it's doing pretty good. It's not breaking off prematurely or anything. The only downside I see is just that the end is kind of becoming thin and fraying, but that's simply because I'm up against a brick wall. So in my eyes, so far, so good. It seems like it's cutting really, really good through this grass. Okay guys, update. I just got done basically burning a full tank of gas on that FS94R. I did my entire fence line, this chain link that you see here, inside and out. This whole dirt area had a bunch of weeds growing up, so I did this entire area. All along this deck line, everything all the way out to that brick wall, which you've seen me do. All underneath this tree here, all around here, this fence line, and again the brick which you watched me do earlier. All of this along this wall, this whole edge here, some of that stuff there, all in here, all the way down up against that wall there. All back here there was a lot of weeds that were just growing up. I mean, this is very, very clean compared to what it was. Most of the stuff under this tree had a lot of weeds growing up. There's still a little bit over there, but I think I'm gonna mow over those. Then I did this ditch line. It's not perfect, but it's enough to where I can then mow the rest of it. And then all over there, and turning around here on the other side of the driveway, this entire ditch line about 6 feet up. And it goes all the way, not to this telephone pole, but to the next one. And you can see here the type of stuff I'm cutting through is just this really, really thick grass. And that goes all the way up to this telephone pole. What were my overall first impressions of this line? Well, I'll tell you what, if someone gave me the opportunity right now to switch this roll of line with something else, I would do it. I'm not saying this is bad. It cuts grass, obviously. It just seems to wear out rather quickly. I went through that entire spool on that FS94. That was a brand new wind. So as soon as I made it down to that ditch line, that line ran out. I had to come back up and re-spool it again. Now, I don't know if that's normal. You know, I went through an entire tank of gas, if that gives you any idea with that FS94. So maybe that is totally normal and that would happen with any line. I don't know. What I do know is that it just seems like this stuff breaks off, runs out, whatever you want to call it, grinds away fairly quickly. I wish I was able to find the typical round stuff from Stihl, the orange stuff that came on the trimmer when I bought it. That stuff seemed to do pretty good. This stuff's okay, but I definitely, like I said, if someone gave me the opportunity to switch this out with another roll, right now, I'd do it. Just didn't blow me away, you know, and I thought it would, but it didn't. On a little bit of a different note, that FS94R, although it's a fantastic trimmer, of course, it's a commercial trimmer, it does seem to be giving me a little bit of issues. It had a little bit of trouble starting today, and after that line ran out, I shut the engine off, re-spooled it, and tried to start it back up again, it just didn't want to stay running. It wouldn't idle. And also down by that ditch line, it wanted to die over and over. And as soon as it hit some heavy grass, it wanted to bog down real hard, which is absolutely not the way it was acting when I first bought that thing. So I have done a little research, and apparently that spark arrestor, that little screen that covers the exhaust, is probably clogged up. That seems to be the common issue with, you know, all of these, you know, two-stroke engines. So I think I'm gonna have to take that exhaust off, have a look and see if that screen is clogged up. Hopefully it's as simple as that. I'll check the spark plug too, of course, but I mean, like I said, I've only used this thing a handful of times, so it shouldn't be, you know, having issues, I would imagine. Well guys, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And also, if you're not a subscriber and you've watched this far, consider subscribing. I'm Jimmy for The General Expert here on YouTube, and I will see you in the next one.